I came out as bisexual to friends in 7th grade, but I didn't come out to my parents until my sophomore year. My mother doesn't believe in bisexuality, and my dad is supportive of the LGBT community as long as he doesn't have to see it or be associated with it. I've gotten all the ignorant comments, all too personal questions, and just plain disrespect. I've even been banned from people's homes because their parents found out about my sexuality. It's hard to feel safe in a school where the majority of the community doesn't believe that you deserve rights. I constantly have to fight to be seen as a valid human being, and if I'm being completely honest, it's exhausting. People believe that pride and such is a political issue. It's not. I do not have the luxury to put pride in the political category and not think about it because it doesn't apply to me. It's my everyday, and that won't change if one day I do end up in a hetero relationship.
I am a cisgendered lesbian who started experimenting with my identity and stuff like that. I have homophobic parents, which have been one of my biggest downsides, having no acceptance but my friends accepting me. At school, I've dealt with bullying and sexualization for performing PDA with a girl, and that really made me feel awful. But I am in a relationship with a woman who I love very much from Canada, and we have been together for almost 5 months, and I could not be happier.
My story isn't too complicated. In 8th grade, I started having thoughts about boys, and it was super confusing to go through. That, and for the entire freshman year, I was trying to decide if I was gay or straight or bi. Eventually, when I got to sophomore year, I decided that I was bi. The only people I told at the time were my 2 friends and my new girlfriend. I wasn't ready to come out to everybody or even my family because they were very racist and homophobic, so I wasn't sure how they would take that. After my girlfriend broke up with me, I had a huge panic attack, and with some very bad judgment, I told my mom about it all. She didn't believe me, and we didn't talk about it after that. A couple of days later, my ex started spreading rumors that I was dating a guy in another town and that I was bi. I don't know why she decided to betray my secret, but she did, and I decided that I had to tell the rest of my friends so they could hear it from me.
I come from a very religious Muslim background, and have known I was gay since forever. Like many others, I had denied my sexuality for years because of the extreme homophobia I've dealt with, until I finally came out, and I'm proud to be who I am today, and I'm so thankful for those who supported me. It's still a struggle identifying as a Muslim and gay at the same time in this community, because of the rejection I face from both sides. After receiving many threats from all over the place, including my own family, I'd become severely depressed and attempted to take my own life. I was quickly rushed to the ER in critical condition, and I missed so many days of school not being able to see my supportive friends. With this story, I want to show others that you can practice your own faith and still be part of the LGBTQ+ community, even if you're hit with rejection and hate. And I want to show that religion is not tolerant of hate, and I want to show those who justify their homophobia with religion to see what it's like living life as an LGBTQ+ Muslim. It's time to accept that LGBTQ+ Muslims exist, and your identity is your own choice and no one else's.
I came out as bi in 8th grade. My mom was okay with it at first, but my father ignored me for a week and told me I wasn't allowed to be bi or anything else under the sun. To this day, he still believes that I faked being bisexual for my friend group, when in reality, only my mom knows about the girlfriends I've had, and boyfriends I've had when I did have one. I may not get all the support I want, but I have myself and some others who I know love and accept me, and at this point in my life, that is enough.
I am going to be an incoming junior at the high school, and I am bisexual. It was always a part of me, but I didn't truly know until I got into middle school. My family is very religious and conservative, so growing up, I was taught that being gay is a sin. But it's not, and I think people need to realize that. I didn't come out until freshman year, and my family still doesn't know. It's hard having to keep that part of me hidden, but I wouldn't be here today without my supportive friends. Since it's Pride Month, I want to talk about my experience at the Pride Parade last year. When I was walking to the parade with a group of people, there were very hateful men screaming at us and telling us how it was wrong to be here. It broke my heart because everyone that is part of the LGBTQ+ community who went to Pride had the courage to walk and show their true colors, but were still shamed for loving who they love. Standing there watching the parade, seeing everyone dancing and cheering, made me realize that pride is important, because you should never be afraid to express who you are and who you love, no matter the struggles that come in your way. To anyone who is in the closet or out, just be you and be happy.
I am Christian and pansexual. I grew up thinking that if you were gay, that meant you were going to hell. So when I realized I wasn't straight, I really started freaking out. I felt really out of place at my church and at the Christian summer camp that I went to, but I found hope at Barrington High School's Christian club, Uprising. I wasn't pressured or anything to come out, so I don't know if anyone in the club knew I was pan, but it was a place that I could grow in my faith without being judged. I also found support with one of my teachers. When I thought I'd accidentally come out to my parents, I thought they'd read my speech I'd written for English that mentioned I was pan. I went to Miss Nowak for support. She gave me advice and she encouraged me, but she never judged me.
I realized that I was different in 4th grade. I didn't like dolls, I hung out with my friends who were tomboys, dresses felt more and more uncomfortable, and a few years ago, dresses became unbearable. It wasn't me. Nothing about puberty felt like me. I grew up to realize that I wasn't a woman, but I also wasn't a man. Going through therapy, I eventually figured out that I'm non-binary masculine. I've only found one place, a book, that puts it into words matching closer to how I feel. Symptoms of being human. But still, it wasn't quite right. So many people, including my dad, want to know exactly how I got where I am and how I know that I am non-binary, but I can't find the right words to describe it in a way they understand. The descriptions I find don't match up. I'm okay with identifying as non-binary, but I feel like I have to explain myself. 2 allies. It can be really hard to explain one's own identity. Please don't ask them, or at least ask them if they are comfortable answering and have the words for it. I do not have much representation in the media, so understand that it can be hard to describe. Ask names and pronouns. I may look female, but that is not what I identify as. Share your pronouns, even if you identify with the gender you were assigned with at birth. It really helps normalize asking what pronouns a person might use and feel validated, especially if they are not validated at home or cannot come out.
I've known my sexuality since I was in 5th grade. I've been proudly out to my friends as bisexual since I was 11, and I couldn't be more grateful for the acceptance every single one of my friends has shown me. Since I've known it for so long, a lot of my questioning friends come to me with their questions about sexuality, and I've helped 2 of my friends figure out their sexualities and feel comfortable enough to come out. I love that I've been out for so long and people feel comfortable coming to me if they need to talk about this kind of stuff. It makes me really happy.
Quarantine has been pretty rough, and I think it's been especially difficult for LGBTQ+ members. And as a transgender man, it's been pretty difficult for me. I've been a little off lately, and someone I thought who was my best friend ended up getting into a huge fight with me, and we ended up splitting apart. A few weeks go by, and my mom confronts me. Turns out my ex-best friend was trying to get me in trouble with my mom by saying I did something terrible. Her and I talked about it, and I kept denying it and saying it was untrue. And my mom could see that I was just in so much pain from all of this. She told me one night that she was looking into hormonal therapy. She said that she was going to call the hospital the next day to see if she can get a hold of a gender therapist, and I'd never been so happy in my life. I started sobbing tears of joy, knowing that at the end of this quarantine, I'll finally be able to take testosterone, and after all this waiting, I can be who I want to be. BHS has been so supportive of everything. They even changed my name in Infinite Campus. BHS is probably the most supportive school I've ever come across. Happy Pride.
My good friend and I came out to each other while we were sitting in one of our classes. So far, neither of us have told many other people, but your validity in the community is not determined by how many people you are out to. Spread love.